Welcome, family. It's Wednesday afternoon here in Poland, and I just want to do a short video and share my thoughts about Golden Age, about three tribes we come from, which is light, neutral, and dark. I don't know how many of you get that feeling or even a thought that actually we all run on light energy, regardless of tribe we come from. At this stage, we all run on light, crystalline light energy. And why do I come with such an information? It's actually because it already came to me that we as a beings, human beings, we transform the energy and we direct it exactly where it meant to go. What if there's no difference between neutral, dark, and golden age when it comes to energy? Have you thought about how is that we are in a golden age and we still deal with all those circumstances that are similar to a dark age? Isn't it because we all run on a light source energy, and accordingly to that, where is our consciousness at as a human beings? We just simply direct that energy to serve us, particularly in a way where directing the energy. So this is something that it's inside of me for quite some time. Isn't it that we all, as a source being, regardless of which tribe we come from, regardless of our contracts, soul contracts, what if we all run really on source light energy? So many are waiting when the darkness will disappear. What if we all manifest accordingly to that? What are our systems of values and beliefs? I thought I will take you for a ride, but it's too windy when I ride, so I just stopped. So many of us wait when the darkness will die. More forward we go, more clear it is to me that whether there are beings who are directly assigned to darkness, and their beliefs that they need dark energy in order to survive. And even our system of values and beliefs is being compromised right now. All we knew about ourselves, light and darkness, is being just shown to us that we could be wrong, believing, waiting when the darkness will disappear, dissolve. What if the dark beings, the other tribe we used to fight, what if some of them knew that when the golden age will come, they still be in existence? I'm not saying that the whole tribe that belongs to darkness, let me just, what if the whole tribe that served the darkness some kind of knew that regardless of what age we are in, they're gonna exist? What if it was about the fight of being in charge of planet Earth, multiverse? Wasn't about whether there is more dark or light energy. Yes, there were many elements put into place in order to control us. But yet, so many of us are surprised. We are at this stage and still we are dealing with some resistance. What if we are the ones to show them the way? What if they are just realizing that regardless of age we are in, they're gonna exist? There were so many questions I have asked during the last few months. Our expectations when it comes to darkness and its disappearance was just an illusion. Dear ones, when you look at from perspective of giver of life declaration, it clearly states there is an infinite life to all of us. I did a video about the celestials, and I did get back to the video, which I think it was 26th of May, or I could be wrong, when Kim was mentioning about celestials before the matter occurred, that they were just only celestials living on Earth. There was no matter, so we kind of explored everything we could at that stage. And I did mention in my previous videos, I did reach out to the place out of the yugas, before yugas ever appeared. Because there was this feeling, remembrance, that we've been manifesting already in a pure light. So, because we explored everything that was possible to explore and thus in that particular state before matter occurred, which was we've been translucid. I don't know if it's right word, but we had no bodies. But obviously, I got this remembrance, I got these memories of manifesting before darkness occurred. And I ask myself a question. Why then would we agree for all those conditioning that came into a place after darkness occurred? And an answer was, in order to expand, bring more life, we got this idea of bringing in darkness so the matter could occur. So we could have these physical bodies, not only human bodies, but other species too. And as we explored many different case scenarios, we couldn't move forward. So we had this idea of expansion together with the darkness, create another densities, dimensions, species in the physical form. But at this stage, when the idea came to us, we knew it could be a trap for us. So we got all those covenants, agreements with Source, with each other's. So at some point in time, we'll come to realization, remembrance of that. I'll just wait, some car coming. When we remember why it all occurred, darkness, matter, one day we'll awaken from that illusion and will bring all into light. So we already have eons since time occurred, since matter occurred behind us. And we are at the stage where Giver of Light Declaration was filed. Now, so many of us, light beings, wondering when it all will change, when the whole darkness will dissipate. We're kind of being stuck in an illusion that it all will be taken down for us. I know. And yet, 18 months into Golden Age, we're sort of struggling, having our expectations, trying to put forward our plans, and it's not working. And yet, we can see around us there are those being dark. Because I'm sure so many of you see it, what I see. I have no doubt you see it too. And what would be the solution then? My thoughts are that they are simply realizing that even without darkness, somehow they exist. Isn't it that we as a human beings walking on this planet Earth have been always deciding how things will go? Yes, we had many species, many beings, so to speak, above us that were very powerful and had a lot of control, not only on human race but on other species too. What if it was just a cover up to make us fool? What if all those beings, Anunnaki, negatively charged to be more precise, and other species were just cover up? I'm not saying they were not powerful. Yes, they had an control on Earth and on us for a very long time. But before any species occurred, who do we had before? We had the celestials, light, dark, neutral. At some point when the matter occurred. And if you ask yourself a question, who was the very first one who went against Source? It was one of us, and there is no division at this stage, light, dark, neutral, because all the beings were celestials. Not, it wasn't the same as the 9 plus 1 Source in the very beginning, but that was later on. Who was against the free will, dear ones? Wasn't it Lucifer? And last year I started to write about all the children of Source, that some of them went against mother and father Source because they wanted to be independent. They went against the parents, and the way I saw it was like mother Source, father agree to go a particular path for the whole creation, because one of the child not being against a free will got a really great idea to expand the consciousness life, to expand the creation. That's what mother and father saw, that disagreeing with the free will of a one child will allow to expand the creation, so as the consciousness and life itself. So I don't know why, but all the time it's being shown to me it was just the one who got all around, and not necessarily all around knew about the whole idea, but the one wanted to trap all. And the way I saw it, it was like all the siblings, mother and father, got trapped. And the reason why Source agreed to that was because of the expansion of life and creation. And we all know that without darkness, matter wouldn't occur. So what it was shown to me was that yet siblings, parents agree to be trapped, to lose their memories. And the reason was, and they only agreed to that, parents, our parents, we all have a parents. So even if we come out of source, source is our creator. Without source, we wouldn't be here. And the reason they only agreed for that was that one day, when remember what was the plan, and we'll finally will get out of this agreement, contract. I'm sorry, there is some train coming on the right and some trucks on it, lorries, whatever you want to call it. So it was clear for me when I got this remembrance a few months ago that we already been creating without darkness. These were times before time, before any agreement that ever was signed with Source. And this, I do remember that I couldn't understand why we would get into situation where we are right now, until it got so clear. The romance, marriage between light and dark has brought so much life into existence that we would never be able to manifest. I look around myself. I see some of them, those beings who never walked light. They never walked light. They were in the fear of non-existence. Isn't it that we are at the stage where they, or at least us, light beings, are realizing that we all run on light, crystalline light. And accordingly to the level of consciousness we are at, we simply transform the energy to serve us light, neutral, or dark beings. If the dark ones were the ones who knew the most, there were some of them who knew the truth. The truth, which is, we don't need dark energy to be alive, to exist. But in order to control the masses, we need it so they wouldn't become aware that we simply have a one source. Yes, there was this triangular system. I am not denying it. I am not. But looking around myself, I am more and more realizing that they will not need the dark energy. They simply run on light. Ha! How's that? They ran on light, and they always did. And because that was transmuted into the dark energy, it doesn't mean they needed it. But in order to control the masses and other beings and keep them in limitations, they needed that illusion that we need the dark energy. We all are brothers and sisters, regardless of what tribe, house you come from. Light, dark, neutral. We all have the same mother and father when it comes to a soul family. I'm not speaking of biological family. And as Kim said, that we manifest all. It's just that we need to change our perception and understand that we all are source beings. And even if we're not gonna have a dark energy and we're gonna see some that seems to be pure dark, it's because they wish to transform their source energy that hits them into dark. I don't know when they're gonna realize that. How many of us is able to love them for what we all created until now? How many of us is able to understand that regardless of tribe we come from, we are brothers and sisters? And maybe this is what Kim said, that we need everyone to join their hands. Isn't it that they're fighting because we don't have this realization that they're gonna be with us? They're gonna be with us until they realize they're of source. To pure light source. And in May, June, when I did the video about celestials and having all these memories that we've been creating already without darkness, this is how far I could go. Can you love them? Regardless of what we are experiencing right now, can you love them for being trapped and believing that they are only that what they remember? Can you love them for all the creation that has occurred since the beginning of time? I'm not speaking of compassion because there are some beings that even transmute the compassion. This is not a compassion, but simple understanding that I recognize them for who they really are, but they were not able to live it yet. Can you put yourself in a situation on their place? Because at this stage, the only thing that can help us is not to think that the darkness will go away. The only thing that can help us is understanding that they were the courageous ones who got into a situation where their world is falling apart. And the fear of non-existence is within them for over a decade. That's what I see. I see those for over a decade who've been in the fear of non-existing. None of us knew what golden age means. None. We are simply finding out, walking every single step into a golden age. What if we could transform it by realizing that so many been trapped, so many, although they seems to be in masters in manifesting, they are just simply afraid. And this, the ones I'm speaking about, the ones around us. I am not speaking of SSP and other folks coming from other organizations. I am speaking about those who are around us, who served them and helped them to keep us in limitations. When many of us will go beyond limitations put upon us, because we've been always kept in small circles, limitation. But once the span of your own being will go so high in a vibration, you're gonna break through any limitation put upon you. I never thought I will come to the point of such understanding. And for me, it was tough to realize a lot of things, especially this year, because that's what I did remember and what I knew about in golden age consciousness, limitations, manifestation. It brought me to the point this January where I realized so many of them around me were put just to keep me in a limitation. And imagine that, because I've asked this question from a moment when I realized there'll be different timelines, 4D, 5D, and something was off for me. Something was off for me. And I asked this question. Imagine children having different parents. Light, dark, neutral. And I asked this question. Why would Source take away some of our parents, brothers, sisters, causing so much pain to those unaware, leaving them in 4D, letting some go to 5D, someone to stay in 4D or even pass away, not get into there. What source would be that to take it away and cause such a pain to its children? Isn't it that our imagination about what golden age is was just put upon us so we could manifest that way, this way? 2019, I did a video. I started a series of webinars in Polish. And I already mentioned it. It was about many aspects of oneself, and the next one was about crystallizing a 5D timeline, but I never did it. The reason why I never did it was because at this stage I met an entrepreneur through the Facebook, because I read some article of his, and his name is John McIntosh, and I start to translate some of his articles because I was resonating with his writing. Very quickly we got connected, and I was offered to open a publishing company in Ireland and translate his books not only into Polish, but he already had a group of people who could translate that into many languages. And this is when my webinars were stopped. And 2 months after, I had to withdraw from my own commitment to do that, because of the things that has happened in my life. I am grateful I haven't do that, because I have memories that I've been working with him, living someone truth, where not everything actually resonated with me, but I had memories of doing, having this publishing company. But then after decades, I just simply got it that something's off in here. So what I'm trying to say is that, what if we've been mistaken? What if Source has as Kim said, absolutely different plan for all of us? What if all we meant to join and work together? What if we're stopping the next stage because of our expectations that it went to meant go this way or that way? What if Source wants us to finally reunite and remember the whole plan from the very beginning, before a time occurred? Otherwise, we're gonna be battling all the time. As hard as it might be for some of us, we can't change the fact that we all are a source beings, whether we served lower astral or upper astral. What if we all have creating powers? What if some knew as a human beings that regardless of age we are in, we're gonna have it all here, light, dark, neutral. I am not saying that all darkness knew. I'm only trying to say that some knew, definitely knew. Look at them and their remembrance. What's the difference between light and dark beings? The difference is that our memories were shut down, reset, we've been reset, and their memories never get lost. What if the only way to we grew this darkness, dear ones, we freaking grew the darkness we're dealing with for a lifetimes. I know it wasn't easy, but now listen to me. If you are a light being, there were always a virtues written within your own being. You couldn't go beyond them. What if every single life you lived, you always followed your virtues and you couldn't be tricked in a way to become a very dark? What if they only been keeping us as a neutral one because of the knowledge, remembrance of their own? What if the only reason, the only way to keep the power was to keep us neutral? I know some of us went down, but what if our intention was to save the creation? And by being neutral, it was enough to go down and serve the darkness. I wrote an article about a short article in the beginning of this year about exiled soldiers years ago in Poland. It's quite popular, and that they are those, maybe it's a wrong word to say exiled, thrown away soldiers. And I remember writing it to them to not follow their contracts, to not be fooled, because it's not that there were only beings of other species than human beings who've been tricked, but my understanding and what I see around me in my micro world shows me what's the macro world, and it's always working the same way. What if they've been tricked They followed. Yes, we have all those demons. We had all those beings taken down. Uh, Marduk, Enlil, Enki, Anu, Red Queen. What if they all knew that that this was just a facade, something that was in front of us so we couldn't see? I tried to figure out so many things this year. So I got Anu and Leelanki Marduk and all the crew, reptiles, all of them. But then we got demons. Who's managing them? Isn't it a human being that they are in the response of, that they react into, that human being is pulling a string and we believe demons are that and this? What if we have around us human beings who know that the truth is much simpler than we thought? What if the human beings around us are afraid that we're gonna find the truth and know exactly everything about them and they're trying to hide it? There are so many questions on my side that only shows me the truth is much simpler than we thought. Having taken down so much and fooling us, fooling, it was more than it was more about delaying the whole truth to come into the surface. But the truth been told by our guardian. We're the ones who manifest that. Have you ever thought about Jesus? When last year Kimberly was saying that the being playing Jesus was freed. So was the lady source, Adam, Eve, so on and so forth. Have you ever dived in behind the story about the Jesus? The moment Kimberly mentioned that Jesus got put down there to keep alive the lower astral, I've got all those images and the stories behind it. That he's been fooled. That although although yet even if he was fooled, he left us in such a powerful information after over 2000 years to realize that we're such powerful that we're gonna do so much more and we're capable to do so much more than he did. Something was off with the yugas for me. Yet there, yes, not yet. There was an agreement for it, but it was for me a setup from the very beginning. Because imagine during a neutral age, we got it all figured out. Something happened, we got into a dark age. Yes, the agreement, covenant, so it had to occur. But there were those who knew the truth, which was much more simple. If you want to hide something, you're gonna hide it deep inside within a being. So yes, a waltz with dance. dancing a waltz with swords. I'm sorry. There was so many things I remember that I did on other timelines. I finished psychology. I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing hypnosis. I get attached to so many tools. And it was always for me an indication, an ability to see it, so I would not attach into stuff in here. We are in the golden age. All you need is your own mind, body, and soul. Recognition of how powerful you are. And having your inner focus on that, what we came here to manifest, not on our own but with source. When frustrations occur, it means I am so freaking pissed off because this is not working, that is not working. But was it really good and benefit to all of us? For years, I saw myself working with people. I started doing coaching course that I finished very quickly after 2 weeks because I saw this manipulation within all those tools. I got depressed because I couldn't work with people, because I couldn't do what I love to do, being stuck in a job instead of being with people. Almost went on the other side 9 years ago, 8 years ago. 9 years it started because I said, I was shouting inside 9 years ago, why have you sent me here? No one understand me. And I don't want to be here. So within a year, I was withdrawing. My soul was withdrawing from this reality. I got very ill. And almost a moment before I left, I've been shouting again in silence. I want to stay. I will know. I will remember. So I went through operation. Obviously, I'm alive, regardless of what I've been through. But more and more I see that they're not gonna go away. They got the gift of infinite life too. The reason they're choosing to stay in old contracts, and since last year, almost since 1.5 years, I saw the contracts were changed, and I couldn't understand why so many are choosing not to wear new shoes. I couldn't. This whole year and all those discoveries only prove that whatever I wrote about the golden age over 1.5 years ago is true. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the ones who are resisting their own light within. Can you imagine yourself as a brother or sister of those around you, of those who are resisting? More we deny more power we give to them. We all are manifesting. The question is, who's stronger in potency of what we want to manifest? That would be amazing if many of us could see that we all are source beings and there is no division anymore. We are in the golden age. I call it golden house. And we are guiding them back home. Not only ourselves, but even our brothers and sisters from other tribes. And we need this recognition, otherwise we're no different than darkness. Would you want so many beings to be dead? What they did to us doesn't matter. That was their role. What you gonna do about it? How you gonna perceive your brother and sister from other house? More anger, hatred, remorse, anger. You put it them, more it's gonna disturb you. Love them. If there is anything that could heal all of us, it's love. Love is the essence of all that is. It's not to agree for what they're doing. Recognize your brother and sister. See the sparkle within them. If you want, the only thing you do, you add more darkness into themselves. Regardless of how dark they are. Ask yourself a question, why would Source keep them? So you could recognize the sparkle within them. Much love to you all.